Some secrets are better off buried. But the thing about truth? It never stays buried for long. It claws its way to the surface, dragging every lie, every half-truth, and every illusion with it. What happened to me wasn't just a story of betrayal. It was the price of honesty, the unraveling that begins the moment you stop lying. Too late. I never set out to destroy anything. That's what I kept telling myself again and again, like a mantra that could absolve me. Like it could soften the blow of what I had done. Like it could erase the look in Evan's eyes the night he found out. I met him during a summer internship in Seattle. I was 24, ambitious, laser-focused, emotionally unavailable. Love was not part of the plan. And then there was Evan. Confident. He didn't have to try to be the center of the room. He just was. A quiet magnetism. That smirk that always hinted at a joke he hadn't told yet. He made people feel seen. Understood. Safe. It started out professional, just co-workers. But somewhere between shared lunches and late-night project deadlines, something shifted. It wasn't some cinematic head-over-heels romance. No drama. No fireworks. It was steady, soft, and real in the kind of way you only recognize once it's gone. By the time the internship ended, I had thrown out my plan to return to Boston. Evan asked me to stay. I said yes without hesitation. 8 months later we moved in together. Built a life that, from the outside, looked enviable. Our apartment was warm, filled with laughter and routines. Weekend farmers markets, Netflix marathons, inside jokes whispered across crowded rooms. But perfection is a lie. And it doesn't crack loudly. It erodes quietly, piece by piece. 3 years in, the shift began. Evan hadn't changed in any obvious way. He was still kind, still thoughtful. But I could feel him slipping away like I was holding on to smoke. His late nights multiplied. He'd zone out mid-conversation, forget things I'd told him hours earlier. At first, I chalked it up to work stress. Then, I wondered if I wasn't enough. Eventually, I stopped wondering and started reacting. That's how Marcus happened. He was loud where Evan was quiet. Brazen where Evan was careful. He made me feel noticed in a way I hadn't felt in months. He flirted without restraint and didn't pry when I spoke vaguely about my complicated relationship. It started innocently, just drinks, some flirty banter. Then came the late-night texts. Then a hotel room. I told myself it would be just once. A mistake. A moment. But once turned into twice. Then 4 times. And every time I walked back through the door Evan and I shared, I felt smaller. Filthier. Less human. I promised myself I would stop. That I had stopped. And I almost believed it, until the night Evan turned to me with those unreadable eyes and asked, "Do you have something to tell me?" My heart went cold. I didn't know if he knew or if he was just fishing. I shook my head. Lied straight to his face. And he didn't challenge it. He just nodded as if he'd been expecting that answer all along. That night he slept on the couch. For the next 2 weeks, something hung in the air between us. Thick. Suffocating. I tried to fix it, cooked his favorite meals, planned a weekend getaway, even splurged on that absurd espresso machine he once joked about wanting. Nothing worked. He barely spoke. Just existed near me but not with me. Then one night I got a text at 2:04 a.m. 5 words that punched the air from my lungs. "We need to talk tomorrow." He came home the next day and sat across from me like I was a stranger. Placed a folder on the table. I didn't want to look, but I did. Inside were screenshots of messages, receipts, printouts, even a blurry photo of me and Marcus leaving that hotel together. He didn't yell. He didn't cry. He just said, "I had a feeling. I hoped I was wrong." I tried to explain, told him I didn't love Marcus, that it meant nothing, that I hated myself for every second of it. I stumbled over apologies, swore it would never happen again. But then something slipped out that I hadn't planned to say. "I wish you never found out." He froze. Not "I wish I never did it." Not "please let me fix this." Not "tell me what to do." No. I said the one thing that sealed it all shut. I wished he hadn't known. That was the moment I lost him completely. He stood, walked to the door and said, "That tells me everything I need to know." And he left. I didn't hear from him for a week. Then came the email. He was moving out, breaking the lease, and asked for space. That word hit harder than any insult. Space. The kind you don't come back from. I spiraled. Cut off Marcus entirely. Deleted every message, every photo, blocked his number. I started therapy. And after a few weeks, I did the only thing I hadn't done yet, told the truth. I wrote Evan a letter. Poured every raw, unfiltered thought into it. I told him how lonely I'd felt. How I made the worst possible decision instead of opening my mouth and being honest. How I tried to patch a hole I never should have ignored. I told him he didn't deserve what I did to him. That he was good. Better than I'd ever been. He never replied. Months passed. I saw photos of him online at company events, smiling, thriving, surrounded by people. Meanwhile, I was sitting in the quiet of the apartment we once filled with love, learning how to breathe again in a space that no longer felt like home. Then I heard through a friend that Evan was seeing someone. Her name was Grace. And she wasn't just a rebound, she was the real thing. Bright, grounded, gentle. The kind of woman he always deserved. The kind of woman I couldn't be. It didn't make me angry. It didn't even make me jealous. It made me realize the full weight of what I'd done. I hadn't just betrayed him, I had destroyed the version of us that could have been something forever. And the worst part was I couldn't blame anyone but myself. Sometimes I still see it all play out. The folder on the table. The way he looked at me like he didn't recognize the person sitting in front of him. The exact moment I said the thing that cut deeper than the affair ever could. I wish you never found out. I replay it, trying to rewrite the scene in my head. Say the right words. Reach for him instead of freezing. But life doesn't do retakes. It doesn't care about what you meant to say. Some people regret the affair. Others regret getting caught. But the deepest regrets? They're the words you wish you could unspeak. The ones that echo long after the doors have closed, after love has died, after silence has taken its place. Let this be a reminder. What you do in the dark always comes into the light. And when it does, sometimes it doesn't just burn, it blinds you. Forever.